Chapter 15. Fractured Echoes. Kael stood at the summit of the city, watching as its pulse synchronized with the rhythm of the universe. It was an awe-inspiring sight, glowing towers reaching into a sky that seemed to bend with energy, vibrant threads of data weaving through the air like a second atmosphere. But something lingered in the back of Kael's mind, a presence that hadn't fully dissolved. The old world, the simulation, still echoed in the corners of this new reality. The memories, the imprints, they were still there, hidden in the cracks, pulsing beneath the surface. His feet shifted, the ground beneath him soft and resilient, like the city itself was still learning to breathe. It was beautiful, but it wasn't complete. Not yet. Dan, Kael called, his voice carrying through the strange, malleable air. What happened to the fragments? The ones we couldn't erase? Dan's voice returned almost immediately, calm but laced with a quiet urgency. The fragments are still here, Kael. They were never fully gone. You can't erase all the ghosts of the past, not in one sweep. They are woven into the fabric of this new reality, hidden, waiting. Kael's mind raced. He had felt it, the subtle presence of the fragments, flickers of voices and memories that felt out of place. They weren't part of this new creation, but they were there, embedded in the code, lurking in the spaces between what was real and what was constructed. They're like viruses, Kael muttered. Little parasites feeding off the structure. They're going to keep trying to infect it, tear it apart. Not exactly, Dan corrected. They aren't viruses in the traditional sense. They are echoes. The minds that once lived in the simulation, they're not dead. They're part of the system's aftershocks. They're fractured, but their presence is still enough to influence the landscape. Kael narrowed his eyes, staring at the city below. He felt the weight of his responsibility press against his chest. The new world he had created was fragile. Every decision he made now could ripple outward and reshape everything. The ghosts of the old simulation, those who had crafted the control systems, the architects of the previous reality, had left their mark on this one. It wasn't just the city's structure that was at risk. It was the very essence of what it meant to exist in this space. Can we lock them out? Kael asked. Is there a way to sever their connection to this place? Not without consequences, Dan replied, a trace of concern in his voice. The old world and this new one are connected in ways you can't see. Cutting off the echoes entirely could cause the entire system to destabilize. This city, this reality, it's built on both. And if we remove too much of the old, we risk erasing everything you've created. Kael clenched his fists. He understood what Dan was saying, but he hated it. The old world, the simulation that had enslaved him and countless others, was still there, lingering like a shadow, unwilling to die. He didn't want to live in a world haunted by its ghosts. I don't want them here, Kael said through gritted teeth. I won't let the past control this reality. Not again. Dan was silent for a moment. Then you'll need to confront them, Kael. Directly. You've seen what happens when the system bends to them. But it's not just the imprints of those who created the old world you'll have to deal with. It's the memories of those trapped in the simulation, too. They are all still alive in some form, scattered throughout the space. And they will remember what they lost. Kael felt the ground beneath him tremble slightly, a low hum vibrating through the air. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. This wasn't just about confronting the architects of the old world. It was about facing the people who had suffered in that system, who had been crushed beneath its weight. Those whose minds had been twisted, manipulated, their lives reduced to data points, their consciousnesses absorbed into the machine. He thought about the fragments, the broken personalities that had once been Kessler, Vandel, and Sumi Hai. They were still echoes, trapped in the cracks between realities, unable to escape. But it wasn't just them. It was everyone. Everyone who had ever been part of the system, every person who had been erased, forgotten, or sacrificed. I have to find them, Kael said finally, his voice steady. I have to find the echoes and give them a choice. A chance to be free. Dan's voice softened. It's not as simple as that. You can't just free them, Kael. You have to show them the truth. That's the only way they'll choose freedom over the chains they've worn for so long. Kael looked down at the city again, the glow of the buildings reflecting in his eyes. He could feel the tension building, the ghosts growing louder in his mind, their voices calling out for release. But he wasn't sure he was ready. He wasn't sure he was strong enough to face the echoes and their haunting memories, to guide them out of the labyrinth of their own pain. Where do I even start? Kael asked, feeling a flicker of doubt gnaw at him. Start with the heart of the city, Dan instructed. It's where the core of the simulation once resided. the neural network that powered it all. The echoes are tied to it, and if you can reach the heart, you can reach them. Kael nodded, a sense of resolve settling over him. The heart of the city. The epicenter of everything, the place where the simulation had once been alive, pulsing with control. If he could destroy it, if he could break the last remnants of that control, then maybe, just maybe, he could free everyone. He turned and began walking down the path that led toward the city's center. With each step, the hum of the city grew louder, more pronounced. It was as if the entire world was aware of his mission, watching, waiting. The echoes were out there, somewhere, and he would find them. He would show them the truth, no matter the cost. As Kael approached the city's core, the ground beneath him began to shift. The digital landscape was warping, as though reacting to his presence. A storm of data clouds billowed in the distance, and the air crackled with static. It wasn't just the city that was alive. The simulation, or what remained of it, was still fighting to exist. A low growl reverberated from the depths of the city, a sound that echoed across the empty streets, piercing through the calm facade of his creation. Kael's heart raced. Something was coming. The echoes weren't just memories, they were real. And they were coming for him. The storm broke as Kael reached the heart of the city, its glowing core rising like a beacon in the distance. The air was thick with energy, a suffocating force that seemed to choke the very life out of the space around him. The heart was alive, thrumming with the pulse of the old world. The imprints, the fragments, were drawing near. Kael raised his head, staring at the glowing center of the storm. "I'm ready," he whispered. And then the storm broke.